Well, I'm going to put a part in between parts today. I'm going to do a couple of cosmetic touch-ups to make this thing look that little bit more better. And it's basically going to be two things. Number one, we're going to, as you can see, tap the holes in here. I've already pulled out the rivets. And what I'm going to do is mimic the original where hex head screws were put in here. Dummies, of course, to mimic a split bearing. And we're going to set them up on small bosses on the sides. And that's just going to make it a little bit more detailed than with the straight rivets. And we're also going to remake the exhaust tube thing clamp. So here's what I did after tapping. I went to the lathe, took a 5mm piece of rod, drilled it and machined a taper onto it. Then I went to the grinder and ground most of the plane surface away, trying to match the radius contour of this thing. Then when I was satisfied with the fit, I parted the piece off, removed the burr on there, and after that I wanted to initially solder it in place, which didn't work because, as it turned out, the rod was stainless. Can't solder that. So I used isocyanide glue for that instead. This one here is a little different. The whole thing is a dummy, but this is a dummy for a dummy. I managed to break off a screw in this hole. I got it out by drilling it out, and upon re-tapping it, I broke the tap. So that was game over, and now the screw just protrudes a tiny bit into the hole. It's not threaded or anything, it's just there to locate the thing and of course to look the part. The glue is strong enough, it's going to last. No doubt about that. To make this guy a little prettier, I think we'll have to get away from using a hammer and a block to get it into shape and use the same die and press method that we did on the water pump bracket. So here are the dies I made. Pretty straightforward. Shaped a nose onto one side and a relief into the other, and rounded the edges off with a file. Here's a strip of brass, so let's see how this does. And there we go. Now we've got rid of all the scratch marks, and it looks a little tidier too. Okay, here is the old bracket. I drilled the holes and did some filing to the new one, and after a bit of sanding and polishing, I think this one compares rather nicely to it. We have no hammer marks on this one, unlike with this guy here, which is all scratchy and a little bit off symmetry. And this one looks more similar to the clamp on the pump with the radii on the sides. So yeah, I think that should look a little better. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, right? Right, well, I hope you enjoyed 2 short videos instead of 1 long video today. And yeah, if you liked this episode, then write me a comment if you wish. I can't show you the entire machine, or I won't show you the entire machine right now, because that's what they would call a spoiler. But I think the bracket looks pretty good. See you later, bye!